Hello, and thank you for listening to Texas History for Kids. I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos, an educator, writer, history nerd, and novice investigator. Each week on the show, we will learn about interesting parts of Texas history, from battles and historical figures to the odd and enchanted. Welcome back to Texas History for Kids. This is episode number 72, and I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos. Before listening to today's episode, be sure to grab the freebie listed on the show notes of today's podcast and follow along. We're changing things up here at Texas History for Kids. I've gotten quite a few emails and questions and suggestions from you guys. So I've asked my new co-host and daughter, Zoe, to help me with a new section of the show. And we're calling it The Big Question.
Hey, Mom.
Yes, ma'am.
This week is National Park Week. One of our listeners, Julie from Dallas, asked, how many national parks are there in Texas?
That's a great question, and definitely the perfect one to start off National Park Week. Texas has 14 national parks. Have you ever walked through a forest so quiet it felt like time froze? Have you ever stood in a shadow of a canyon that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie? Or maybe you've wandered through the ruins of an old fort and thought, what happened here? Today we're diving into a world filled with hidden fossils, historic battlefields, prehistoric creatures, all of which tell the story of Texas' past.
But who protects all of these places? Who keeps them safe for us to explore?
It's not a superhero. It's not a secret society. It's something called the National Park Service.
So what is the National Park Service?
Well, it's a group of real-life protectors, kind of like history and nature's bodyguards. They take care of the most important places in the United States. Places with wild landscapes and old buildings, sacred sites, and stories that stretch back hundreds, even thousands of years. They protect giant mountains, underground caves, raging rivers, and battlefields where history was made. And yes, even mammoth fossils still buried in the ground.
But why?
Well, imagine this. What if no one stopped people from building a new town on top of ancient trails? What if trash and graffiti covered rock art left by native people over 10,000 years ago? What if no one remembered the first battle that started a war, or the old missions that tell the story of San Antonio and Texas? The National Park Service makes sure these stories and these places are never lost. Did you know that when you visit a national park, you're not just walking through nature, you're walking through time? Some places in Texas tell stories of dinosaurs. Others, cowboys or outlaws and presidents. And a few, well, those are said to be haunted. Today we'll talk about one of Texas's national treasures, where fossils are still in the dirt, and scientists believe it holds secrets about the Ice Age. Think you can guess what park it is? Well, stay tuned to find out. Now that you know who preserves and takes care of national parks, I'm going to discuss all 14 national parks in Texas and why they came to be. Number 1 on the list is Big Bend National Park. It's located along the Rio Grande River. Some of the most greatest things about this park is that you get to see all major landforms, like deserts and mountains and rivers, all in one park. There's wildlife like javelinas, black bears, and even roadrunners. This park is important because it protects one of the largest tracts of the Chihuahuan Desert in the United States, and you can easily look across the river and see Mexico. One cool factor about this park is there are dinosaur fossils here and a natural hot spring you can even sit in. Park number 2 is the Guadalupe Mountain National Park. It's located near the New Mexico border where you'll see tall mountains, canyons, and ancient fossil reefs. It's home to the highest point in Texas, Guadalupe Peak, which is 8,751 feet. You'd need about 29 statues of Liberty stacked on top of each other to equal the height of Guadalupe Peak. Cool factor? You're literally walking on the remains of an ancient underwater reef when you walk on Guadalupe Mountains National Park. Here's another fun fact about that place. McKittrick Canyon glows red, orange, and gold in the fall. On to park number 3, Amistad National Recreation Area. It's located near Del Rio, where a huge lake was formed by the Amistad Dam. This is a great place for swimming, fishing, and kayaking. The Amistad National Recreation Area protects ancient rock arts called petroglyphs. One cool factor is you can boat through the canyons and spot petroglyphs made thousands of years ago. Here's a fun fact. The name Amistad means friendship in Spanish. On to National Park number 4. San Antonio Missions National Historical Parks are located in San Antonio, where you'll explore the Alamo and its 4 Spanish missions: Mission San Jose, Mission San Juan, Mission Espada, and Mission Concepcion. I have personally visited all of these sites, and they are a sight to behold. The craftsmanship and masonry is incredible there. The San Antonio missions are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and they show the blending of Spanish and indigenous cultures. A cool factor is these missions were like little cities with farms, churches, and workshops. Here's a fun fact. You can walk or bike a trail that connects all 4 missions throughout the city of San Antonio. On to number 5, the Chamizal National Memorial in El Paso is where you'll view a peaceful park with art exhibits and even a theater. It celebrates a peaceful end to a long U.S.-Mexico border disagreement. Here's a fun fact. The land used to be part of a disputed territory until 1963. Number 6, Padre Island National Seashore, which is located near Corpus Christi on the Gulf, where you'll see long beaches, sand dunes, and even turtles. So why does this park matter? Well, it protects the longest stretch of undeveloped barrier island in the entire world. Here's a cool factor. If you visit in the summer months of June through August, you might get to witness baby sea turtles being released into the ocean. Fun fact, wind and waves move the entire island just a little bit every year. Number 7, Fort Davis National Historic Site, located in West Texas, where you'll find a preserved 1800s U.S. Army fort in the mountains. Now, this area once protected settlers and was the site of mail routes for many trade trails. Cool factor? Costumed rangers sometimes reenact life on the frontier from the 1800s. Here's a fun fact. African American soldiers known as the Buffalo Soldiers were once stationed at Fort Davis National Historic Park. Number 8, Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park is located in Stonewall, Texas. Well, It's actually located in Stonewall and Johnson City. Now, this site is important because it's home to President LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, his home as a child, the ranch that he lived on, and the most famous Texas White House. It honors the life and the presidency of the 36th President of the United States. Here's a cool factor. There's a working ranch with cattle, barns, and even Air Force One half. Now, fun fact, Air Force One is a plane that presidents take to travel across the country. Well, located there in Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park, you can find Air Force One half. Another fun fact is former President LBJ went to school in a one-room schoolhouse, and later he became the president. This just goes to show you, sometimes we might have the most humble childhood, but can still become something great. Number 9 on the list is El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historical Trail, which actually runs from East Texas to Louisiana. That's a very long 2,500-mile trail. Why does it matter? Well, it was the main Spanish road that connected Mexico to East Texas. So here's a cool factor. When you visit this park, you get to travel where soldiers, traders, and priests once walked centuries ago. Fun fact, some original route markers are still standing today. Number 10 on the list, El Camino Real de Tierra Adentro National Historical Trail travels through far west Texas into New Mexico. It features historic sites and ruins of old missions. Now, I didn't discuss what a mission was earlier when I talked about the San Antonio missions, but a mission was like a small town that was built a long time ago by Spanish settlers. But it wasn't just any town here. Missions had a special job. The Spanish missions were built to teach Native American people about the religion they were bringing into the United States, which was Christianity. They were also built to show the Native Americans how to farm, cook, and build using Spanish ways. Remember, the Spanish at this time in history were coming to Texas to control the area and take control over the land. The Spanish missions were there to try to make peace between the Spanish settlers and the Native American tribes. Here's a cool factor. It connected Mexico City all the way to Santa Fe. Here's a fun fact. The trail itself is more than 400 years old. All right, we're almost done. Number 11 on the list is Santa Fe National Historical Trail, which is located in New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle, where you'll find old trail campsites and historical markers. It helps settlers and traders move goods between Missouri and New Mexico. So here's a cool factor. You can still find wagon ruts from the old trail from long ago. This is one of the busiest trade routes before all the railroads came into town. Number 12. Alabate's Flint Quarries National Monument is located near Amarillo, Texas, where visitors can find colorful flint rock and ancient quarry pits. Native people of the area used this flint to make tools for over 13,000 years. Flint is a special kind of rock that's really hard and has sharp edges when it breaks. A long time ago, even before people had metal tools, flint was one of the most important materials around. Why do you say? What was it used for? Well, it was used for making tools like arrowheads, knives, and scrapers for hunting and survival. It was also used to start fires by striking it against metal or another rock. Cool factor, the flint in this national park was so good it was traded across North America. Fun fact, The flint sparkles with red, purple, and orange hues. Number 13 on the list. We only have two more. Number 13. Palo Alto Battlefield National Historical Park is located near Brownsville, where visitors will overlook a quiet field where the United States-Mexican War began. This changed the borders of both nations forever. Cool factor, there are cannons, reenactments, and a cool visitor center. Fun fact, this battlefield looks nearly the same as it did nearly 180 years ago, and battle artifacts have been found. And finally, our last and final park, number 14. I told you guys would have to wait. Waco Mammoth National Monument, located in, you guessed it, Waco, Texas, where you'll find a real fossil site with the remains of 24 mammoths, where it preserves the only known Ice Age nursery herd in the United States. The last Ice Age is believed to have happened over 13 million years ago. And guess what? Some of those fossils are found in Texas. Here's a cool factor besides the fact that it's found in Texas. You can walk around an air-conditioned building and see mammoth bones still in the ground waiting to be dug up. Fun fact, the site was discovered by two teenagers in 1978. Boy, are we glad they were digging around, huh? Well, that's all for today's episode. I hope you learned something new and that it sparked a little something in you. Thanks for listening to Texas History for Kids. Hit that subscribe button and follow the show. More importantly, share it with others who might find it interesting too. And don't forget, the best Texas stories live just beyond the lessons in your classroom, waiting for you to explore. Stay curious, my friends. and even roadrunners.